Okay, welcome. Thank you, Ms. Sheldon. We'll go ahead and get started with our work session agenda. The first item of business is agenda item number 24-880, discuss fourth annual commission retreat. Mr. Granum.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and Commissioners. Good evening.
Good evening.
On your packet, it's the very last page of the regular session packet. It's the last piece of paper you have, page 47 to 47. It's what I have included in the packet. It's just simply the Outlook invite for the fourth annual Red Bank Commission retreat. I put it on the calendar so it's a placeholder, and of course it's not decided until the commission decides that. But I did speak to everybody, including Commissioner-elect Holmes, and this date and time and location seems to work. So really, I'm just confirming with you all that this is a good date and time and location.
Can you remind the location? Oh, fire station number 2.
Yep, 25 February, 9 to 4:30, fire station 2.
Excellent.
Okay.
Works for me. Everyone else?
Let me double check the work calendar.
Oh,
Sorry.
Hayes is double checking his work calendar.
I believe it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Good for you, Jamie?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Confirmed. Thank you. All right, moving right along. We have item number 2, public hearing and request for special exceptions permit at 2405 Linden Avenue to allow for social gatherings, resolution number 24-1756. Director Johnson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're going to do things a little bit different tonight when it comes to these presentations for the work session.
Okay.
Especially given his background, experience, and direct interactions with the applicant. I'm going to have Michael Pham, our community planner, do this presentation and work session with you to kind of bring you up to speed on especially the 2 particular public hearings that deal with special exceptions. So I'm going to have him take a look.
Is he going to touch on the 3rd agenda item as well with this
So
presentation?
water?
No, I'm sorry. The next one that's connected to this.
Yeah,
Items 2 and 3.
The Linden
This
Avenue.
little
Yes.
car.
Yeah, and then the low water is the other rezoning. we
Is
talked
the
about.
4th one.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're gonna
Okay.
let Michael take it.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Got my script here. This item is before you for 619, oh, sorry, not 619, 2405. There it is. So 2405 Linden Avenue, this is a special exceptions request that with the help of Mr. Stoltz, we have decided to call the intended purpose of social and or business related assembly of persons and or special and or commenced gatherings for assembly uses, 2405 Linden Avenue. And that seems convoluted, but based on the application and discussions with the applicant, the intended purpose is of a commercial nature where the property owner may operate a co-working space, an art gallery, a venue, and other similar uses. There is no explicit allowance for this in the light manufacturing zone, which is why the resolution is before you for approval. The staff recommendation to the Planning Commission was to approve the request based on this section of Linden Avenue being very much an extension of the Dayton Boulevard commercial corridor, where it is important to encourage quality and attractive commercial businesses. Surrounding uses are similar in that they provide space for a variety of uses and encourage people to gather. That would be the sweat club, motorcycle shop, the nonprofit bicycle co-op. There are no known co-working spaces in Red Bank other than the Meeting House, which is a coffee shop with seating. This request is somewhat unique in that regard and will likely contribute a new and needed opportunity for the surrounding community. The Planning Commission was excited about this request and voted unanimously to recommend approval on October 23rd, 2024. Should I move to the next? So there's also the Washington residence request, which is going to be a separate special exceptions permit. And this use is explicitly permitted with the issuance of a special exceptions permit. And it's only included in light manufacturing zones, of which there are only a handful in Red Bank, this being one of them. The staff recommended approval of this special exceptions permit, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval on October 23rd.
Can you can you touch a little bit on what the night watchman permit is? Like what that residence permit looks like?
Yeah, it's essentially allowing someone to live there. It doesn't really elaborate in the zoning code.
Okay.
But let's just say a watchman's residence for his family and himself is allowed.
Okay.
Is that the person that's owning it that oversees it?
That would be the property owner.
The property owner?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's in my backyard,
Yeah.
basically. Nice numbers up on the black wall now.
Mhm.
So it's an open space for gatherings.
So the watchman's residence is actually just a portion of that building, which, do you have the floor plan in front of you?
We do.
Yeah, so first special acceptance permit is, you can see them labeled on there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have them on the screen, but. Okay. Yeah, so in the top right corner, you see watchman's residence.
Okay.
Looks like it's about 18 feet by 32. So that's the only part of the building that would be occupied by a resident. And as far as I know, it's just the applicant.
And that's the first floor.
Yes, there is an office space on the second floor that I don't see the floor plan for here.
Okay.
But I've seen it, the fire inspectors have seen it. Yeah,
So with the catering and the serving area, is that a part of the business that runs catering out of it? Or is that a place where it's like a restaurant and you order food and you sit in the lounge and eat and drink?
I don't think there's an intention to operate it as a restaurant. It is really just a sink and a counter space, from what I saw.
Okay,
But he has labeled it as catering there. I'm not sure why.
maybe they plan to
He
work
hasn't
out of it.
mentioned any decisions to do a business out of there. There's no good range, so I don't think he'd be doing a commercial restaurant.
So further, there's not a specific known outcome yet for what they're planning to do, or,
In terms of tenants, I don't think he has anyone signing a lease yet, but I think he's been in discussion with them.
okay, so it's a number of people coming in to work, like a co-op
Yeah, it would
business.
be like temporary work for the day, like a remote worker would come and work on their computer with internet access at the table.
So you can have access to a printer and stuff.
Sure, yeah,
Right.
something like that.
I'm sorry. I
And
didn't-
then-
No, that's
Yeah.
that's
And I
a good
think
question.
he mentioned at the planning commission that he won't hold, irregular venues like a birthday party or an art gallery, art opening for someone, something like that.
So charging those events to come in and use this space. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor Dalton, for getting us started. Next item on the work session agenda is public hearing and request, oh, sorry, that was the Watchman. Public hearing and request for rezoning of 619 Wellwater Road from R1 residential to RTZ residential townhouse, 0 lot line, ordinance number 24-1269.
That's right. So the property at 619 Water Road to be rezoned from R1 residential to RTZ residential townhouse 0 lot line, so that the applicant may subdivide the property into 5 pieces, preserving the existing home and property as a flag lot and adding 4 additional properties fronting Lullwater Road. The conceptual site plan submitted with this application meets the development standards of the RTZ zone and are intended to be of similar design and size to the 4 single-family detached houses that exist immediately north of the property. At the planning commission meeting on October 23rd, a neighboring resident expressed their support for the rezoning because they appreciated that kind of development and they were seeing patterns of that along Lullwater, and they wanted to see more families like his moving to the area. Another neighboring resident asked if there were any plans to build sidewalks on Lullwater as more of this type of development occurred. The request was recommended by the planning commission on October 23rd with a unanimous vote to approve, subject to the condition that only single-family detached houses / residents are permitted, and that other RTZ uses are prohibited. The staff recommendation is to approve the rezoning. The decision to include the condition, as usual, is yours. And I've just added a little bit of my own dialogue here, which is that there are cases of attaching conditions to rezonings This may be indicative of a zoning ordinance that does not adequately articulate the expectations of the commissions, but conditions can create procedural complications down the road. On principle, a request to rezone a parcel should be approved based on the reasoning that the zone is appropriate as it is written, and should not require ad hoc conditions to be attached to the rezoning request by any given planning commission or city commission. The RTZ zone was added to the zoning ordinance in 2015 to provide regulations for the development of townhouses, single-family zero-lot line dwellings, and/or mixed-use moderate-density residential development in a manner which is attractive, provides for efficient use of land, and is compatible with surrounding development. The Red Bank 2035 plan summarizes the zoning language as greater compatibility with low-density developed areas. The letter of this ordinance allows a variety of housing products, including attached, and I will leave it to you to determine if that is sufficient.
Well, Mr. Pham, of course, the decision rests with this commission whether or not to include that condition, but as our city planner, what would you do if you were sitting up here?
If I were not a planner, not sitting up there,
If it was your decision to make, would you include the condition
I would not
or?
include the condition.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Pham? If we decided not to include the condition, Arnie's not here today to consult, but I believe we would make a motion to approve without condition. And then we'd have to have a second on that, to amend that if we chose to strike the condition. Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, we'll move on to our next item 5, purchase of traffic control devices from TAPCO for Morrison Springs School Zone, resolution number 24-1759. And that's Director Tate's item.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Have a little background on what we're trying to do for this resolution.
We're getting the right map, but just give us a second.
Oh, we don't have that.
It's fine.
Yeah, on page 4 of the agenda of the work session, there's a map that illustrates the school zone that I'm going to be talking about. And there's existed a school safety zone on Morrison Springs Road for over 6 decades. It once served the Red Bank Middle School from 1960 to 1982, and then Red Bank High School from 1982 until when the two schools were swapped, and then in 2013, the new middle school campus was opened behind the existing high school campus. The school safety zone was expanded from approximately 1/4 mile in length to 1/2 mile. This expansion was necessary to accommodate student traffic to the new middle school campus, as well as additional vehicular traffic traveling on Tom Weathers Drive, which serves as the primary entrance to the Red Bank Middle School. Earlier this year, Red Bank Chief of Police Dan Seymour consulted with MTAS, the Municipal Technical Advisory Services, to conduct a traffic study within the school safety zone due to numerous complaints of speeding and other traffic concerns. In September of 24, MTAS presented the City of Red Bank with a complete traffic study of Morrison Springs school safety zone. The findings included categories of vehicles, average daily traffic counts, average speed, vehicles speeding more than 5 miles over the speed limit, and vehicles speeding more than 10 miles over the speed limit, and in both school zone operation times and non-school operation times. Data showed an average daily vehicle count on Morrison Springs of 13,382 vehicles. Data also showed that during the school safety zone operational times, 82% of all vehicles were traveling at a speed of at least 5 miles over the posted school zone speed limit. Data also showed that 64% of all vehicles traveling through the school safety zone during operation were traveling at speeds greater than 10 miles over the posted speed limit of 25 miles per hour. As opposed to only 8% of the vehicles traveling through the zone during non-school zone operational times, where only 8% were doing 10 miles over the speed limit. So this led staff to, or this study supports what staff believe to be that, among other factors, drivers may lack awareness as to the exact location, operational times, and length of the school safety zone due to inadequate signage and the fact that currently the only flashing lights identifying the school zone are 1/2 mile apart, and not visible in a straight line due to the curvature of the road. In July, staff from the Public Works Department, the Community Development Department, and the Police Department created a traffic safety committee among the departments to address issues such as speeding through school safety zones. The Morrison Springs Road School Safety Zone being one of those topics. The committee discussions centered around making improvements in identification of the school zone and replacing poor signage to enhance driver awareness. The Public Works Department, through our cooperative purchasing agreement with Omnia Partners, has sourced solar power, remotely controlled flashing school zone lights and sign equipment from TAPCO Company. This equipment will be installed along the Morrison Springs Road school zone for improved driver awareness in an effort to reduce speeding within the school safety zone. The equipment for this school safety zone upgrade consists of 4 posts, each mounted with 2 12-inch amber beacons mounted above and below a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit blinker sign. And the blinker sign are like the ones on Reading Road, the stop sign that flashes. They'll have that blinker sign around the speed limit, in addition to a beacon top and bottom. They will be located along both sides of Morrison Springs Road, as illustrated in the accompanying map that's in your packet. Funding to pay for this safety equipment in the amount of $24,784.45 was budgeted and will come from the State Street Aid Fund upon commission approval.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Director Tate?
Well, that was going to be mine. The 25-mile-an-hour speed limit is it's not going to be a 15-mile-an-hour through there.
No, sir, not at this time. No speed limit changes.
I've got a question. So the statistics you said, I like the idea of the beacons. Those statistics are concerning. I mean, that seems like a roadway design concern. I mean, it's 4-lane highway through there. So has there been any thought towards addressing that? You know, is that part of our long-term plan?
Possibly a long-term plan, but as part of this, that's just not within the time frame of what we're trying to accomplish and the means that we have to do that kind of work with. That, you know, when the comprehensive plan is finished and we're able to develop the CIP and move on to bigger projects, you know, that would certainly be a consideration. But you know, the biggest thing is, and I noticed this today, I went and picked my grandson up, took him home, and I was coming back through right in front of the high school. And there was a car that was driving 25 miles an hour beside me because I set my cruise because I don't want to be responsible for running over a kid crossing the road. And you know, there's no crosswalks or sidewalks on the Chattanooga side. And so the kids do cross over to the apartment complexes there. So I'm driving carefully through there and there's a car driving right side to side. When we get past the entrance, we have an old sign there that says school zone speed limit 25 miles an hour. But it's about 300 or 400 feet past the entrance to the school. When we got to that car beside me just shot off and took off, you know, through the rest of the school zone. And that just reinforced the fact that people probably don't understand once they get past the entrance to the high school, they're still in a school zone. And that's the reason for us enhancing this with, you know, lights and flashing beacons.
Was any part of that study on Tom Weathers Drive? Because once you get off Morrison Springs and on that road to the middle school, no.
No, ma'am, it was just, you know,
Strictly
basically
Morrison Springs.
looking at the school zone on Morrison
Yeah,
Springs Road.
okay.
And, you know, we do have 15-mile-an-hour speed limit signs on Tom Weathers Drive, you know, for what a middle sign's worth.
So would you describe these beacons as a stopgap solution to get us, you know, closer to a longer term solution that might
Yes, ma'am.
involve roadway design?
I would. It's a, you know, I know the cost looks, you know, large, but it's a relatively inexpensive cost to make people aware that they're speeding through a school zone at this point. And, you know, in my opinion, that gives the police department, and our police department is very good, especially in the mornings, with cars sitting over there in the dark hours, sitting over there with police cars, you know, flashing lights. But as soon as they get by a police car, they take off till they get to the next.
I do.
exit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about
But
everybody.
yes, I would agree with that 100%.
Okay, and the beacons, once purchased, if, you know, whatever, any roadway changes are made in the future, the beacons will continue to function with the new design?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They will be permanently, semi-permanently mounted on pads, but They're solar, and we can take them up and we can relocate them to another part of the city if we need to.
Okay. And I like the point that it's remote. If
Yes.
you see that you need to
Mhm.
adjust hours or days.
Right. The flashing lights that we have on both ends now have a cloud-based timer system. And Justin Hedrick has programmed all the school times when the kids are out half days and so forth. He's got all that programmed in those, so we don't have to monitor them unless, here a few weeks ago, Alpine Crest was flashing at, what time was it? 10
It was
o'clock
like
at night?
No, it was like 6:30 or something
Well,
like
Justin
that.
went and checked it out later that evening, like 9 or
It was
9:30,
flashing.
and it was still flashing. So sometimes they need attention, but he can control those, remotely, and these will be the same way. He can control them from his computer and not have to climb ladders and set times.
Okay, good.
All right, any other questions for Director Tate? Okay, if not, thank you very much, and we'll move on to item 6, accept the Cultural Connections Grant of $2,000 with no match requirement, resolution number 24-1758, Manager Graby.
Good evening, Commission. Hope all of you had a wonderful Turkey Day. Yes, today I am bringing you the award of $2,000 with no match request from Arts Build Grant, the Community Cultural Connections that we applied for about a month ago and were awarded. This grant, when we sign the letter of understanding with them, we will be awarded 75% of the funds. And then at the end of our programming, we will have 31 days to do just a short report of what we've done with those funds to receive the last 25% of the funds. All of these funds will be used for our Red Bank Active Older Adults programming to help pay for arts classes. We will be partnering with the Chattery, who's done now in December, it'll be 10 free classes that they've done for us. So they have been great partners with the city of Red Bank and with our seniors. And what we'll be doing with this funding is being able to provide 2 art classes a month from January through June of next year until we're able to bring you guys a new budget for Parks and Recreation and for programming.
It's my understanding that the arts classes are particularly well received by our active older adults.
Yeah, and one of the things that the grant reviewers mentioned, they said they were very excited about this and that we're bringing more arts into Red Bank in general. They also wanted to encourage us to continue to reach out to bring in new seniors to our programming and not just the ones that we have going already.
Excellent. Do you have plans for strategy for bringing in more seniors?
We do. Tegan and myself will be putting together a couple of things to put out in news articles, as well as a couple of different media that we haven't previously used for Parks and Recreation to get the word out. Different mediums that will cross different generational gaps.
Excellent. Any questions for Mr. Gravy?
Well, I mean, you just gotta kind of get older to get in.
You're more than welcome to come.
All right.
What is the age
It
requirement?
is 55 plus.
55 plus.
Barely.
All right, and when is your next event for active older adults?
They will have a guest speaker for December on this Thursday,
Okay,
and it will be a doctor from Earlier North coming in talking about the 5 wishes, and it's helping for advanced planning for your future, whether you have a living will or not, and they're going to help go over your social, emotional, financial, and other things to think about as you move into retirement age.
excellent. So this Thursday, 55 and up.
It's already on my commissioner's report.
Okay, all right. All right, if there's no more questions for Mr. Gravy, then we'll move on to our next item of business. We have items 7, appointment to the Planning Commission, agenda item number 24-879 by Commissioner Dalton and Commissioner-elect Holmes. And we have, yep. Director Johnson.
Apologies.
That's okay. I didn't have a name on this one.
As happens with each election, city commissioners do make their appointments to the planning commission. So we are prepared to do so. I will ask, I think, at the the formal agenda, that those effective dates are for January. We do have an already set agenda for December, and obviously we want to be able to honor those two members that are going to be rolling off, celebrate them, and then look forward to the new year.
Now, the planning commissioners' terms match the commissioners who appointed them. Is that correct?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so these will be commissioners for the next 4 years, these two new appointments.
Correct.
And this is an agenda item. This is not a voting item. So this is more of a public notice of the appointment.
Correct.
Any questions or comments?
I will just say if the applications were uploaded in the packet. I don't know if they were printed in the packet, but
They were
they're uploaded.
printed in the
They were
packet,
printed. Okay, excellent. So if you wanted to look through both of those, my colleagues, if you're interested.
I hear we have some very excellent candidates who are willing to serve
Yes. Yes.
that come recommended by our community development department.
Absolutely. Yes.
Excellent.
So we do honor those that have served. They've done a tremendous job. It's not easy transitioning from, especially with all the planning initiatives that we have going on, as well as regular routine planning commission activities. So again, at their December 11th meeting, we will be honoring those members.
Excellent. Any questions for Director Johnson?
So is
Okay.
that on the work session papers?
What page is that on? I think that number?
The applications?
Yeah.
Well, if you're in the,
Oh, okay.
okay, if you're on the PDF, if you're in the virtual,
Oh.
there's attachments.
Yeah, I think Ms.
You
Parker.
have it on page 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On page 7.
Board
16.
portal.
And Ms.
Yeah.
Cook and
That's what I thought you were telling me about last time.
No.
Okay.
On the board portal, for our commissioners, if anybody's logged into that, the applications are available as downloadable PDFs. But I believe they're also, I see them
Mhm.
printed. Looks like page 7.
And then 10 through 16.
Yeah, 7 through 10
Okay.
are the copies of the applications as well in the printed packet.
Mayor, I'll add that Robin is currently serving on one of our commissions, the
Parks and Recreation Board, yes.
And this is an opportunity for Ben to serve at this level. But he's well known in Red Bank circles as being very involved in the community.
Excellent. All right, if there's no more questions for Director Johnson, we'll move on to our next item, beer board meeting. Item 8, Rotary Club application to serve beer and alcohol at the Red Bank Christmas Parade on December 14th.
Mayor, thank you, and I do have a atypical request. We got our signals crossed with our representative, he came early, so Mr. Dave DeStefano is here from the Rotary Club.
Hello.
If we can have him do his presentation here without requiring him to stay for the regular session, it'll still be an action of the board during the beer board hearing, but if that's okay, that
Well, it's not a public hearing, so the applicant,
has to be here.
well, no, it's not a public hearing.
Oh, yes.
So as far as I know,
Okay.
although Arnie's not here to consult, it's not required that the applicant be present, but
Thank you, Mayor.
I think it would be appropriate if we can make note that the applicant was present at the 5 o'clock work session. Is that okay with everybody here?
Sure, maybe we could just double check with Mr. Stoll.
And I will add that,
Yeah, let us know what Mr. Stoll says.
If it's okay for the applicant to present and make his statement.
Yes, during work session and not be present at the 6 o'clock meeting.
and the Rotary Club does this for us. This is probably the 4th time in a row, and they do an excellent job of paying attention to all the things that we need to, as we, sell alcohol and beer,
Well, they've been doing it for a few years now and I haven't heard any complaints, so
Right.
that's a good sign.
right? Thank you, Mayor.
All right, should we go on to citizen comments while we wait for a reply from Mr. Stolz? It's my understanding he was going to be on call for consultation on this meeting.
Sure.
Yep.
All right.
Sure.
Then if that's the case, then we'll now open citizen comments for items.
Summer has something.
Oh, you have an answer already. That was quick.
Yes, as long as he is there. and for one of the meetings that makes presentations.
One of the meetings.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and make this our beer board meeting presentation. During the work session, we will still hold the vote at 6 o'clock and make a note that the applicant was present during work session.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll invite Mr. Dave Stefano to come up. He's representing the Chattanooga Breakfast Rotary Club.
Welcome, Mr. DeStefano. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Is there anything you'd like to share about your?
No, I think Mr. Grantham said it quite well. We've been doing this for a little while now. We have, one of our members has a trailer. It's about 20 feet long with all the different supplies and signage and everything else that we need. We always have a off-duty police officer that checks for ID. We badge everybody so that we know that they've been checked ahead of time. So we're trying to make sure that we do everything correctly. We've enjoyed the Dickens out of doing it. Just want to continue on as to help the community.
Well, I think a lot of our residents have enjoyed having you there as well.
I'm sure they.
Maybe Commissioner Phillips in particular.
We wouldn't know. We don't take names.
That's
Don't
right.
think so.
Well, have you read and understood all of our beer ordinances?
Yes.
Excellent. Any questions for the applicant?
Thank you.
Can we count on you to wear that same tie?
No.
I'm
I have
disappointed.
Christmas time.
Oh,
I'll look
okay.
forward to that one. Thank you.
Excellent. Do you know what the beer lineup is going to be yet?
No, I don't plan the menu. I'll do the paperwork, so to speak. And then I show up and take money.
Okay. All right. If there's no questions for the applicant, then we'll thank you for
I
coming
appreciate
and making your
You
statement.
will let me know when it's all over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeStefano. Okay, that is all the items on our work session. So now it's time for citizen comments for items on this work session agenda. I'll let Mr. Grantham read the rules.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time for citizen comments. Please observe these rules. Comments are limited to 2 minutes or less for this work session, and the city recorder will operate a timer. Please respect her direction and conclude any comments if time expires. Comments should be addressed to the board as a whole and not to a particular commissioner, the city staff, or the audience. The commission is here to listen, not to respond or engage in back and forth, so please do not expect a reply during citizen comment. At this time, citizens are invited to the podium to comment. Please begin by stating your name and address.
Okay, if there are no citizen comments, then we'll close that. Any other business to discuss among the commissioners?
Well, I got some pizza up here. So
Illinois pizza.
we call it cool. It's not cold.
Mr. Grantham? Oh,
Thank
we
you,
have
Mayor.
something for Director Johnson as
If I
well.
can, it's an opportunity and time allows. I just wanted to kind of give you an update on some of the work program that we're working on in community development. Two major, now can you hear me? Two major components that we are reviewing right now is our current fee schedule. We are looking to present to you an ordinance with an attachment that encompasses all of the fees that the city charges. Right now, if you go to look for them, you gotta go here and there, and it becomes a patchwork. So we're looking to unify that and to make sure that we are actually charging appropriately, given the last time this ordinance was updated was in 2004. So it's a little dated.
20 years ago.
Correct. So we are working diligently with other departments to capture what all is being charged, so that we have one cohesive document. It's just an easier thing. If we do need to make changes in the future, we can do that by that attachment. The other that will be coming to you in January, not sure if it's going to be on the 7th or the 21st, will be some proposed.
There is no meeting the 7th, so it will be the 21st.
So it'll be the 21st. We will present to you in work session for some ongoing conversation, a draft amendment to the food truck ordinance. We have several, sporadically we'll have requests that come in, and we're able to address those. And then some, we just simply can't because the ordinance, being a 10-page ordinance, it's not an easy fix, but we want to make sure we get it right and include commission and feedback for how we move that ordinance forward.
Excellent.
That's on the horizon.
Thank you very much, Director Johnson.
Thank
Any
you.
questions? Okay. Well, I think we had Mr. Grantham had also had something you'd like to add.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk through what will transpire at the rest of the regular session as we swear in the new mayor specifically. And so at the last part of your work session packet, pages 15 and 16, it was under agenda item, any other business to discuss, is where we tucked it in here at the last minute. This is the process that we have used in the past. This is largely Mr. Stoltz's work. And so my suggestion, when we get to that part of the regular agenda, which is item 9, the election of mayor and temporary chair, that's when we follow this protocol that I inserted at the end of the work session. It's 2 pages on, again, that's page 15 and 16 of the work session. The title is Selection of Mayor and Vice Mayor. And it basically guides us through the process where the mayor, the commission hands over to a pro tem, chair pro tem, and I'm willing to be that should the commission choose. It's typically Arnold, but he's not here. So, and then I would conduct very briefly that portion of the meeting for the election of the mayor. Once that process is concluded, then I would turn the meeting back over to the mayor. And that kind of lines it out here, and I'm prepared to walk us through that if you're comfortable with that when the regular session agenda calls for that.
Now, what I recall from previous meetings is that all nominations are all received, and then vote is taken in the order that the nominations were received.
That's correct. The nuance is there's a motion and there has to be a second.
Mhm.
So if a motion is made and there is no second, then the motion just simply lapses. So if there's a motion and a second, then that nomination will be considered by the commission. And then if there's a subsequent motion for another candidate and a second, then you would have 2 candidates that will stand for vote, and then they're considered in the order they were nominated. So the first candidate would be voted, and if they are elected by a majority, then that's it, it's over.
Okay. Excellent. Any questions about the procedure for mayor and vice mayor selection? And it turns back over to the new mayor after that for the vice mayor selection.
Yes.
Okay.
The process is similar, or nominations and seconds, but that is conducted by the mayor.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, if not, then that concludes our work session agenda. We can adjourn and reconvene for our 6 o'clock meeting.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you all.